and I have a lot of fun with hand chasing games. Sometimes formal training sessions, sometimes in the middle of a walk. In the previous video, I always had food in my hands. Now I mark a good hand touch with a yes, and then reward. I may ask for 2 or 3 hand touches before I treat. Sometimes I show her there is no food in my hands, but sometimes she thinks it is there. She learns side changes where she turns toward me for a front cross, and she also learns the body language and hand signals of a side change where she turns away from me for a rear cross or a tandem turn. When I turn away from Rumble, I am starting to practice a posting turn. I keep watching over the same shoulder and she stays on the same hand. Or we practice a blind cross. As I turn, I switch which shoulder I am looking over and she crosses behind me and comes to my other hand. Now that her eyesight has developed and she is watching moving objects, we can teach her to drive ahead by throwing a treat out in front. Our signal to run out in front becomes the lifting of our arm as though we are underarm throwing a treat or toy ahead of us. To teach Rumble a parallel position next to me, I use a heavy cement disc as a pivot. To start, we just reward for having 2 front feet on the pivot. Previously, she has been highly rewarded for sitting and looking at me, so I am still using a bit of food to lure her into the parallel position, then rewarding her quickly once she is there. This technique also helps her to be more aware of the placement of her hind feet and how to move her hind legs. Although in obedience and gun dog work, I only need to teach her the heel position on my left-hand side. For agility, I want her to be ambidextrous, so we practice both the left-hand side and the right-hand side. I love watching her tail wagging as she's working all of this out. This stage of training, I don't care if she's sitting or standing, just so long as she is parallel to me. I am more interested in watching her develop that side step with her back feet. Sitting still can be a boring thing for a young and excitable puppy. We have to make it fun and rewarding for Rumble. We have to make it worth her while to control her own excitement. I start with her in a sit position and continue to feed her while I take just 1 step away from her in different directions, to her left, to her right, in front and behind. If she moves, I withdraw the treat, and I gradually build up the distance that I move away from her. At this stage I can get up to about 2 steps away out front, but I can't move behind her so easily yet. She is now finding this a little too difficult, so she decides to exit stage right. I call her back and increase my rate of reinforcement to keep her interested in the sit-stay exercise. Moving behind her, only taking half a step away and feeding her frequent treats. I do repeat the exercise of a sit-stay with me moving behind her. Please note, lots and lots of treats, and then a quick release and a stress-relieving rumble with Rumble. A sit-stay should also be a reliable predictor that something fun is about to happen. If a dog can control themselves for just a little while, they will be released to have some really good fun. In the previous video, we used the tippy board for this work. This time I have propped the seesaw plank about 30 to 40 centimetres high and it is stable. We are just giving Rumble confidence at a higher elevation and teaching her to be aware of where she places her feet. I keep my hands low so she can still see the board. If I lift my hands, she may not be as careful with her feet. The plank is still low enough so that if she falls, she does not hurt herself, and it is all part of the game. Turns left, she turns right, she turns away from me, and she turns towards me.
The temperature's rising, we're gonna explode. Rough and tumble.
I use different planks to practice her 2-on 2-off now. This time I just happen to be using the down end of the seesaw. She knows I want something to happen at the end of that board, but she's not quite sure exactly what she's supposed to be doing yet, so she needs a little bit of help to find her position. Once she is there, I start treating her frequently. I want Rumble to think that the end of the board, with her back feet on the plank and her 2 front feet on the grass, is just the best place in the world. That means it has to be the most rewarding place in the world. That's right, lots and lots and lots of treats. I need Rumble to want to be there no matter where I am, so I start to move my position. Remember to vary your own position as much as possible. I come back and reward if she maintains her position with her back feet on the board and her front feet on the grass. She should be facing forward. I vary my position not only by moving out in front, but I move out to the side and move behind her. She should remain facing forward. Placing food on the ground means she is less likely to turn around to see what is happening with the food in my hands. I want Rumble to be very aware of the exact position I want her to take up. If I nudge one of her back feet off the plank, I want her to correct herself. Once she starts to do this, she is showing me she is starting to understand the exact position she has to take up. It also helps her to be more aware of what her back feet are doing. When Rumble is out of her correct position, I will wait and give her an opportunity to correct herself. If she does, I start rewarding again. 2 feet on, 2 feet off, lots of rewards. We have already mentioned hind leg awareness in our pivot work and our 2-on 2-off behaviour. Dogs are not always very aware of what their back feet are doing. That is why they have difficulty with tasks such as climbing ladders. Good hind leg awareness helps produce a better jumping style, tighter turns, greater safety on narrow planks, and fewer jump bars that are clipped by back feet. In other words, it helps the dog to be agile. Pups often get up on things like your bed or the couch by lifting their weight with their forelegs, and the back legs just follow. This little exercise is to teach Rumble how to use her back legs to push herself up. It and other future exercises will hopefully teach her how to drive off over a jump using her hindquarters correctly.